up, what's up, what's up? It's your man Chazz Ellis once again giving you the information that you asked me for. First of all, I want to thank everybody who came out to the class on September the 6th. It was great. Everybody had a lot of fun, a lot of participation from everybody. I really appreciated you guys coming out. I had a good time. We're going to do it again, definitely. Thank you for all of you guys that came out. Everybody who did have some trouble, there were a few of you that had some trouble getting the live stream. There were a couple technical difficulties. Got all of that worked out. That won't happen again. But for those of you who did have trouble, we're going to send you a copy of the video so that you can be able to watch it. Also, you're going to get free access to the next live stream for the ones of y'all that told us that you had trouble. So we're going to hook you up. Don't worry about it. Sorry about that. Thank you for getting the live stream, though. Thank you for participating. We appreciate you. Also, everybody, I'm doing a live stream channel. It's gonna the first broadcast is gonna be Monday the 22nd. Now it's gonna be on a subscription channel that's gonna be $1.99 per month. But what that gets you is you're gonna get access to those live streams that I'm basically gonna do. It's gonna be like a weekly live stream that I'm gonna do. But you also get access to the live stream classes for free if you subscribe to the channel. So that's gonna be AskChazzEllis Live. The first one's gonna come out on Monday the 22nd of September. Don't worry, there'll be an annotation. I'll talk to you about it more between then. But it's gonna be $1.99 a month. I don't even know what you can really buy with $1.99, so it's not like you're gonna miss it. But that's all it is. And you're going to get, like I said, you're going to get access to the live stream classes also. So that pays for it anyway. Anyway, thank you for everybody who did come out, like I said, to the class. I really appreciate you. Also, make sure you keep hitting me up on the ChazZellisProject.com. Some of you guys was asking about consultations and different lengths of time for consultations. There are all kinds of different levels of consultations you can get on there. Some of y'all ask like really complicated questions in the comment box, and it really isn't like I can sit here and type and answer all of those. So get a consultation. If you want to get a short one, you can. Some of those questions I could answer in like 20-30 minutes. So go ahead and do that. That's the easiest way to go about it. Also, if you want to get involved in some of the discussions that we're having on the ChazZellisProject.com, like should you always leave somebody who cheats? Should people who are in a relationship with each other loan each other money? A couple different questions and things like that we got going on. Get involved in the discussions. I get involved in them too, and I answer people and talk to people on the ChazZellisProject.com. So the question that I had is funny because it came from the live stream or the class that I had, and then someone asked me based on a question that I got from there. Basically, what had happened was a lady that was in the class said that she had been with a guy for 3 years. They have a child together, and she basically was saying that things are pretty good between them in terms of the fact that he's not cheating on her, he's committed, those kind of things. But she said they just have some arguments over like cleaning and stuff like that. And he said that they're not married yet. And he was telling her that there were some things that she was doing that caused them not to be married. That kind of pissed her off. Like, a lot of people probably get pissed off by that. But she said she was thinking about cheating on the dude. So some of y'all who were in the class probably remember what I'm talking about. Like, I remember that. Okay, so some other people asked me some questions about that. They was like, what do you think about that? Somebody cheating in that situation or taking a break from the relationship. Do you think that's... Because she was saying a couple different things. Thinking about cheating, I might want to take a break. I might want to leave or whatever. She was saying a couple different things. And it was like, what do you think about that? I gave her some advice on that about what I thought she should do. But just to give you guys like an overall for some of the people who are going through the same situation, a lot of times in society, they don't really tell women to appreciate a good man. Now, from what she was saying about the guy, they did have some arguments and things like that, but he seemed like a pretty good dude. Now I'm not saying this because I'm like, appreciate a good man and be good to a woman, all that kind of... I'm not trying to tell you that for any kind of moral reason. I'm saying that because of this. Here's how this situation generally plays out. You get with somebody. you're happy-ish. You're pretty happy for a while. That's the guy you actually really would want to be with. But in life, you have a baby, or y'all careers are going on and stuff like that, and you guys kind of have some distance, and things aren't as fun as they used to be when you first met each other. This happens. So you start getting into some of these arguments. And plus, when somebody professes their love to you, and you know that you have them and they're with you, often you start nitpicking. You start looking at all the things that's wrong with them and all the things they don't have, because that base is already there of love and togetherness. So a lot of times they tell you, hey, could you do this? This will make me want to be with you even more. You're like, I ain't got to change myself to be with you. But you would make a change to find somebody else. But you don't want to do that because you already have this person here. So it's easier to just nitpick and say, I'm not willing to do these things. So what kind of happens is, as time goes on, y'all argue more and more because of both of y'all, but your relationship feels like it deteriorates. Then, for most people, somebody else kind of comes into the mix a little bit. And you either start emotionally cheating or even getting physical with the cheating. You start talking to that person. Of course, when you meet somebody, they're going to say all the right things because you're going through some stuff. You're complaining about this other person. What are they going to do other than you're giving them the blueprint on how to get with you by telling them everything that your man's not doing and everything that he's doing to piss you off. So all they got to do is come in and make promises and say, hey, I'm going to do all of those things. I would. If it was me, girl, I understand exactly where you're coming from. They ain't got no reason not to say those things. So eventually, and this is why women, you have to be very careful about this, about cheating, because this is kind of how it goes. Or about leaving a guy for another guy, or taking a break and then getting with another guy. Because often what happens is, as you separate from your current dude, in your mind, what happens is you start dealing with this other guy, and y'all are having the time of y'all lives. Y'all might start sleeping together and everything like that. Y'all going places, y'all partying, y'all having fun. And then you and your other dude, you say, you know what? I need to break up with you, the guy that you've been with. You say, I need to break up with you. We need to take a break or whatever. Or you get caught cheating or whatever case, and you end up being with this other guy. Now, the thing about the new guy is that relationship was dope. It was the best thing in the world when you still had the other guy. And at first, you're going to think that relationship, the new relationship, is wonderful because the older guy, the guy you used to be with, is chasing you still. Or he's still upset about what happened. And that makes you feel like he's chasing you. He might be like, girl, you just going to do that? You going to do me like this for this other dude? That's messed up, because his pride is hurt. But eventually he'll get to the point where he doesn't care so much anymore, and he'll stop being a part of your life. Now you're left with this new relationship. But here's the problem. With the new relationship, you brought all the baggage you had from the old relationship. You brought your kids with you. Now, the intimacy you and this new guy had is kind of being messed up a little bit by the fact that you got your kids with you. So that's kind of rough. You brought your job with you. It used to be you were sneaking off when you're supposed to be at work to mess with this dude. But now you got to go back to, being a regular employee again and doing what you're supposed to do. Can't just mess off your whole life. So now you're not doing those things anymore. So now you basically on the same schedule you was with your first guy. And now your first guy is completely dropped out of your life. And you start noticing stuff about the new guy. For instance, either he's not really interested in being in a relationship with you, or he's a lame. Here's why I say that. Because you was cheating with another dude. So the only type of guy that's really going to want to be in a relationship with you is going to be somebody who's lesser than the guy you had before. That's just the way it is. A guy who's better generally is going to be like, you know what? I ain't really trying to get involved in all that. I was having fun. I might have told you a couple things that I would do. But, now that he's out of the picture, not so much. Now I got to be in a real committed relationship. I ain't trying to do that. So now you feel like you downgraded. If you with a dude, you feel like you downgraded. If he left, you feel like you downgraded to really not having anything. You went from a guy who loved you, wanted to be in a relationship with you, to being with a dude that's messing with you and dealing with you from time to time. So you feel like you lost out a little bit. This is how it kind of happens. So eventually, y'all relationship, whatever relationship you got with the new good guy, usually breaks up, or it becomes bad because it's not what you had before and not what you really want. Because now the other guy is gone completely. This other dude has to stand on his own, and he's not so great anymore. And it basically works like kind of like a rebound, where you get back, where you kind of want to get back with the other dude. So this is what kind of happens. But now that this relationship is kind of not what you want, you're in between a rock and a hard place. Because you know if you get back with this other guy that you used to be with, you're going to have to start all over again. So if you were mad because he wasn't going to marry you, he damn sure ain't going to marry you if you come back now. You got to start from square one and try to prove that, you know, you're reliable and honest and all those things. You're going to be working from in a pit. And so if you try to get back with him, you're probably not going to get married. So you kind of stuck with this guy, or you have to go out there on your own. And when you do, you realize that the world that you left behind is what's still out there. Here's what I mean by that. He was the best dude for you when you went into a relationship with him. Y'all were pretty happy. You know, and life changed some things around. You got all of those same problems that you had before. The same dudes are out there who really ain't trying to commit, really ain't about nothing. It ain't nothing but the same guys out there. But now you bring in whatever baggage you had from this other relationship. Like, now you're older. Say you've been with him 3 to 5 years. You know, maybe you had just got out of college when you met him, and now you're a little bit older. You know, you're bringing that along. You got 2 kids or 3 kids now. You might have a kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, whatever. You're bringing that along. So whatever you were before, you've changed. That's changed the relationship situations. For every dude you deal with, now you bring kids with you. Now you bring a baby daddy with you. Things have become tougher. So what usually happens is the bitterness and anger starts to set in, because you start thinking, well, I can't really get back with you, and I can't really have a good relationship with any of these other dudes now. This sucks. So a lot of times what happens is when you have a good dude and he's got all of the pieces except a couple that may be missing, and you go talking to some other dude that's got a couple of the pieces, you know, like kind of the 80-20 thing, where he's got a couple of the pieces, but, you know, not the rest of the pie, that's what you run into. And you go out into the world thinking that everything, because it's always fun to date when you got a home base and you got somebody you can go back to and say, I love you, and he loves you and you love him, and all that kind of stuff. And these people are kind of a vacation from your life. But when this becomes your life, being single becomes your life, or being with some dude that was kind of a rebound anyway, or kind of somebody that was just, you know, a helper for your real relationship. When you get into that situation, it ain't so fun anymore. And now you're trying to get back into what you used to have. And when you can't, bitterness starts to set in. And that's when you see a lot of women that walk around, they're so angry and so mad at the other dude, even though he didn't really do anything to them. You're like, why are you so mad at your ex when he didn't really do nothing? Well, they're mad because they made a bad choice and now they're stuck with it. So and I tell anybody this, like anybody that does a consultation with me, people know this about me. I never tell you to leave someone unless first thing I'm going to ask you is, would you be happier being alone for the rest of your life? And is this situation so terrible that it's unsalvageable and you would never want to come back? Those are 2 questions I ask. And the reason why I ask those questions is because just because you leave somebody who has some issues or some things that are going on between you doesn't mean you're going to find somebody with all of those qualities that you get along with better. That doesn't mean that. Also, when you leave somebody, it doesn't mean you can come back. You may never have an opportunity to come back again. They may find somebody, and the better guy you have, the more likely he is to find somebody when y'all leave. You break up with him thinking, oh, okay, well, if the world ain't what I thought it was going to be, I can always come back. But you probably can't. If you had a good dude, he's probably going to be, see ya. It's probably going to be over. So I would never give that advice to somebody who is fairly happy with what they got. And I kind of learned that from a guy I used to work with when I was selling cell phones for a while. And I worked with this dude, and he was like, one of his family members was about to come in and buy a phone, and he was like, "Hey man, you sell them a phone for me?" And I was like, "Why don't you just sell it to him? What's wrong with you?" He was like, "Oh no, I don't sell family members a phone unless I ask them whether or not they happy with their service, and if they say they're happy with their, because I asked them if they was happy with their service, and they was like, you know, it's all right, but we would like to get better." He said, "I don't do it unless they tell me that they're totally dissatisfied and anything would be better than what they have. Because that way, they can't get mad at me because they said that. They told me it was the worst service ever and that anything would be better. So now if I give them something and and they don't like it, they can't sit here and say they had something that they liked and now they don't. I make sure that they don't have nothing to lose." That's what you got to think about when you're in a relationship. If you feel like this is a good relationship but just need some pieces added to it, then work on it. Because it's hard to find somebody that's even got a good base. If you feel like you don't really care, and even if you was alone, you'd be happier than you are with them, then you don't have nothing to lose. So you can do whatever you need to do. But make sure that you can be by yourself before you leave somebody that things are pretty good with. But just, you know, you're having some problems. Because that's the worst time to make a decision is when you're mad. Because when you're mad, yeah, you don't like the person. And this other person seems like the greatest thing in the world because they sitting there telling you everything you need to hear and want to hear when you're mad at this other person. But you got to remember, that person's going to leave the picture at some point, and you're going to either be stuck with this person or back out there in the world again, stuck with all the dudes that's full of crap. Just like you were before. There's a reason why you picked that person you're with now. So hopefully I was able to help you out. Once again, it's your man Chazz Ellis. Make sure you hit me up on the ChazzEllisProject.com. Also, be ready for AskChazzEllis Live. The first live stream is going to come out on Monday, September the 22nd. But you'll be able to subscribe before then. Also, it's going to be the live class that I had before is going to be up on there. So you can check that out too. Also, make sure you hit me up on the ChazzEllisProject.com if I didn't say that already. Also, hit me up on Ask Chazz Ellis on Facebook too. Once again, it's your man Chazz Ellis. Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.